Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am here to discuss my panning goals for 2023. I'm gonna go through all of my goals and use my focus on my panning this year, what kind of products I want to focus on, and also use to keep myself accountable a little bit. I have 5 goals to get through and all of them are quite extensive, so I'm gonna jump into the goals. But before I do so, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the video. So these goals are in no particular order, but I'm just going to go through them on the order that I had them on my list. So first up, we have a goal that goes hand in hand with what I tried to do last year, but I did not quite get there with my goal. And that is to use all my eyeshadows, all my cheek products, and all my lip products. So last year I tried to do this as well, but I feel like at that point I wasn't really aware of how long it would take to use all my eyeshadows. I have right now just over 1,000 eyeshadows in my collection, which is quite a lot. And yeah, in the beginning of last year I just kind of slacked a little bit with rotating through my eyeshadows, but this year I do want to use every single eyeshadow that I have in my collection. And if I don't, it's not the end of the world, but I do want to try. And I also have like a mini goal that if there's something that I don't reach for this year, that I also didn't reach for last year, it will have to be decluttered. And that is basically just because if I haven't reached for something in 2 years, then you know, there's no point of me having it in my collection, especially when I'm trying to reach for my eyeshadows. I'm mentioning mainly my eyeshadows because last year I did manage to reach off all my cheek products and my lip products. So I'm mainly focusing on the eyeshadows part because I feel like that's going to be the most difficult goal to reach out of the 3. But the other 2 obviously is what I want to focus on. I've been trying to rotate for my lip products, for example, quite a lot recently as well, because I have quite a high number of lip products too. When it comes to cheek products, I don't have as many as in the other 2 categories, so I'm not worried about that at all. But that is my first goal, is to get as much use out of my collection as possible. I'm not tracking anything else. These are the only 3 categories that I'm tracking, and that's why I'm mentioning them, like things like concealers, foundations, what else, like powders, obviously, everything like by base product wise I do not track. It's only like the kind of colored products, I guess, that I do track in this way. And yeah, those are the things that I want to focus on. So that is my first goal. My second goal is to, in 2023, hit pan on 50 eyeshadows. Last year I think I hit like 48 eyeshadow pans, or pans in general maybe, but this year I do want to hit 50 eyeshadow pans. It's slightly higher, but I'm hoping I can do it because this year, with how I'm doing my panels eyeshadows, I think I have more freedom with the kind of eyeshadows that I can pan. I get to pick them somewhat myself. Obviously I have the prompt list. If you haven't seen my panels eyeshadows intro, that went up a couple of days ago, so you can check that out. But I'm doing Lainey's prompts this year, where you get a prompt obviously, and then you can pick your own eyeshadow out of that. So I think that's going to give me some more freedom, and I can work on eyeshadows that I want to work on, and maybe some that are a bit easier to pan, or just things that I'm going to enjoy and use more. Also, I have hired my usage goal in my panels eyeshadows from 15 to 20, which means that again I'm hoping to hit more pans in that project. So I think I should be able to hit 50 pans, but we'll see how it goes. But that is my second goal. Going hand in hand with that, this is going to be one that I am a bit worried about. It's going to be quite a lofty goal, and that is to finish 20 eyeshadows this year. Last year I finished 13 eyeshadows in total, but there are a couple that I'm quite close on, specifically the ones from my Modern Renaissance palette, which I panned last year. I have 3 eyeshadows left in there, and I don't have too much eyeshadow left in those pans. The shade Venetian Red that I have left is the one that is the fullest, so that is going to be the hardest one to finish, but I'm hoping that I can finish those 3 in the first quarter of the year, which is going to give me a head start. I also have the shade Revolution from Colourpop. It's one of their Super Shock shadows, which I also panned last year, that I don't have too much left on. So again, I think I'm going to get a head start with that one. On top of that, I'm obviously also doing a Panda palette, and my Panda palette actually is a 20 pan palette. So if I finish that whole palette, that would mean that I hit my goal, but I don't think I will be able to finish that whole palette because the eyeshadows in there are quite big. The pans themselves are rather shallow, but the pans are very wide and very big. And I looked up the grams, and it's over 2 grams of product in each eyeshadow, which is quite a large amount. So we'll see how it goes with that palette, but I'm hoping, again, with like eyeshadows in different projects and the ones from my old Panda palette, in combination with my new pan palette, I will be able to hit that 20 goals. But it's going to be a bit of a stretch, and I'm going to have to focus a lot on eyeshadows. And I mean, I'm not used to trying to finish 20 eyeshadows. I'm also trying to hit pan on 50 eyeshadows, and I'm trying to use every single eyeshadow in my collection. So there's going to be a lot of eyeshadow focus this year, but I'm really determined to hit my goals. If I don't hit all 3, I'm not going to be super upset, because I know it's quite difficult having 3 eyeshadow focused prompts. I mean, the first one is like my whole collection, but eyeshadows are included in there, so we'll see how it goes. But again, I do just want to keep myself accountable with the amount of eyeshadows that I have in my collection, and that's why I'm focusing so many of my goals on them, because it is by far my largest category in my collection. So moving away from eyeshadows a bit, the next goal is to finish 15 lip products. This is again my second largest category in my collection, so I do want to focus in on my lip products as well. And I will be having a lip focus product pan again this year. It won't be as heavy as the one last year. My product apocalypse last year was very intense, because I was focusing on, at the beginning of the year, 21 lip products to pan, as well as rate every single lip product in my collection on top of that, which was quite intense. But this year, since I'm also focusing so much on my eyeshadows, I'm gonna lower that, and I'm gonna have a kind of 5 rolling style pan. So I'm going to focus on 5 lip products at any point in time, and once I finish something, I'm going to roll something else in. But I'm hoping to finish 15 lip products. Again, it's might be a stretch, but we'll see how I do. Depending on how I do throughout the year, I might also include declutters into that list, just because if I use something and then I feel like it's not worth it, I have so many other lip products in my collection that I'm not going to force myself to finish something just to get it ticked off the list. So I might include declutters in that list as well, depending again on how it goes. But my goal is to get out 15 lip products from my collection. Then the last goal that I have, which I have no idea if I'm going to be able to reach, because I've never done something like this before, and that is that I want £1,000 worth of empties in the year of 2023, and that is just for makeup empties. I'm not going to include skincare or anything like that. It's just makeup empties, and that is quite a high goal. I'm not sure again if I will be able to do it. It might be completely unrealistic, I'm not sure yet. But I just thought it would be fun, and I also just thought it would be fun to track the monetary value of all the products that I finish. Again, I have no idea if I'm going to be able to reach that. But yeah, I just thought it would be fun to do a monetary empties value, because again, I've never done something like that before. If you have done something like that before, let me know if £1,000, or that would be just over $1,000, if that is completely unreasonable. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a go and see how it goes. But yeah, that is going to be my last goal for 2023. So those were my 5 panning goals for this year. Again, you can see that I have a lot of focus on using my collection overall, but also to specifically use my eyeshadows and finish up some eyeshadows. I also in January just want to use up some more products, hence my empties goal. And yeah, like I said, just rotate through my collection as much as possible. I want to love my collection more, and that's one of the kind of sub goals, I guess, to the ones that I created. Just use my collection more, love my collection, reach for what I want to, but also obviously try to cover as much of my collection as possible. And yeah, that is it for today, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Also, let me know if you have any specific panning focuses or goals for 2023 down below, so I can get some insight into how you want to pan this year. And otherwise, I hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye guys.